Welcome in, everyone. My name is Ruth. Welcome to the Violet Flame Global Shift. We're going to be looking at the Iran and Israel conflict. Thank you for joining me. Welcome in. Welcome in. First of all, I want to invite everyone that's here on Rumble. Thank you for being here. If you wish to ask questions, go ahead to the link below and find me on YouTube, and I will be able to answer questions from only my YouTube app there. And then, of course, if you're interested in supporting me, my trip, this is the last week you get to do so, or even send me a donation. Thank you so much to every single one of you who has bought readings, purchased readings, booked readings with me, sent me money. I could not be doing this trip without you, so thank you. I will be leaving on my trip next Sunday. I do hope to have something on the live there, but we will not have any membership readings for the next 2 Sundays. But we'll pick up in July, where we're going to look at predictions for your nations and the financial predictions for the month of July. I still will be doing my global shift forecast on Wednesday at 8 p.m. So that's in 2 days from now, Eastern time. And I have decided to go all in and do something a little bit radical. Thanks to Richard, who has sent me this information, I have decided to dedicate myself to this channel, this membership. Being with you all is one of the most rewarding things I have ever done in life. And so I just want to thank you all for being here. And I've been having some resistance on my YouTube channel. It doesn't seem to be promoted, but it does seem, the algorithm seems to be on point, okay? The algorithm seems to be showing up. But there seems to be some censorship in the chat where questions are deleted. And then I have actually seen where my video count was cut back. It was 1 count in the evening, and when I woke up the next morning, it was cut back almost in half or 3/4, my viewership video count. And I am trying to get to a point where the amount of views I get and the amount of subscribers I get actually brings me some income so that I can do this more so full time. So one of the things that Richard shared with me, thank you so much for doing that. If he's on the chat, I'll share this again soon. But he has sent me this invocation, and this is from genedecode.org. And this is his website, Blessed for Service. He had a lot of trouble with AI bots, AI interference. And you're going to see here how this goes super cosmic and super deep, super astral. And so as we give everyone a chance to get on the live, I am going to do something radical, dedicating my channel to the angels and the galactics of light. And I want to just say this prayer before we get started. It is a prayer, or it is an invocation more appropriately. All beings, light forms, thought forms, entities, technologies, beingness, awareness, and all else that exists that do not have my highest interest or the highest interest of all life everywhere, and who are not in the highest service to the one true and living God of all creation, I am in thought, form, mind, action, deed, word, and in all ways, and all artificial intelligences and artificial life forms, and technologies they use, such as smart dust, nanodust, black goo, graphenes, algorithms, operating systems, thought forms, and all other artificial life and all else that is not created by the one true living God, the I Am, I demand all to leave my mind, spirit, body, soul, and all that I am on all dimensions, densities, levels, and locations now and forever, and never return. All permissions to create and maintain attachments, influence from within or without in any way, to cohabitate or possess in any part or in any whole, to affect or defect in any way, to feed off of my energies, my mind, spirit, my body's soul, or anything that I am on any dimension, density, level, or location, or alter or change my thoughts, feelings, mental, physical, emotional, and genetic structure in any way, or to create pain, discomfort, or put me into disharmony with the only God of all creation I am, is permanently and forever removed. All contracts, obligations, and agreements I have made that are not in my highest interest and are not in the highest interest of all life everywhere, and not in the highest service to the one true living God of all creation I am, I now declare null and void. All emptiness, holes, vacancies, rips, tears, or injuries from the invocation, contract, negation, and removal of artificial intelligences are now to be filled with the divine light of the Holy Spirit, the word of the one true living God, I am, and the healing and compassion of his only begotten Son, Jesus Christ. All protections and all of this invocation are asked for in the name and authority of the one true living God of all compassion, love, light, and creation, I am, and his holy Son, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit. As it is said, now it is done, and is sealed now and for all time, telestia, meaning it is finished, completed. Let it be. All right. Welcome in. So that just helps clear the space, and I also hope sets the tone that we get true and accurate. Well, I know it sets the tone that everything is done with divine light and everything is done with truth and clarity. Calamity Jane says, I followed Gene Decode when he only had a few followers. He had call-in shows where people could ask questions, and he answered one of my questions that opened my eyes. Gene Decode is a tremendous truther, investigator, and very much involved in spirituality. So I thought we would try this and see where it goes. Let's get started. The conflict between Iran and Israel popped up out of nowhere, and it was a little bit of a shock. Now, Spirit pinged off of me today to remind me what I said in my last live yesterday, last Sunday, was the Ascension exclusive. For those of you who aren't members, we did an exclusive on my membership, and we asked about the Ascension process. And basically, there's a whirl of energy flooding the earth. I saw it like almost like a whirlwind, and it's going across Europe. But everything that's not in alignment with this divine light is starting to resist, and it's like they're not going with the flow. They're actually pushing back, and so things are erupting with anything that's not going with the flow of ascension. So I want to bring that up to let you know that we still are on the path of ascension, even though there's conflict in the Middle East. Shauna says, good afternoon. Good afternoon. But there's several things that I found in my research yesterday that was very fascinating. I listened to Ishmael Perez, and he says that, and I found the article here, that Putin is actually taking on the negotiations. President Trump has offered to help negotiate between the two, but President Putin reiterated his proposal. As the Kremlin said, he is also willing to act as mediator in the conflict between Israel and Iran. And I got confirmation that he actually is stepping in and giving advice and taking this to heart. I'm going to be looking deeply at his involvement in this. The other thing that Ishmael Perez says is that sleeper cells on both sides were activated, and that this conflict is because sleeper cells in both sides, in both countries, were activated and started this conflict. So we're going to be looking at that. I'm sure you all know a little bit more about this than even I do. Pakistan tells Iran that they will nuke Israel if things escalate. Iran is on the brink of collapse as political leadership flees the Islamic regime. And then there's just the other articles of fresh explosions rang out in Tehran on Sunday as Israel extended its bombardment of Iran to its third day. Then Israel urges the U.S. to join bombing as Iran sends huge missile shower. A tower block turns to rubble with at least 10 dead and hundreds more injured. And it was the retaliation to the Tehran bombings. So yesterday, President Trump put out an announcement. The U.S. had nothing to do with the attack on Iran tonight. If we are attacked in any way, shape, or form by Iran, the full force and might of the U.S. armed forces will come down on you at levels never seen before. However, we can easily get a deal done between Iran and Israel and end this bloody conflict. So there's President Trump's latest stand on the conflict. He doesn't seem to be getting a whole lot involved, though. He seems to be wanting to stay out of it unless he's asked. President Putin, however, seems to be wanting and inserting his advice a little bit more. So that's very interesting. Yesterday, the USS Nimitz aircraft carrier is now headed toward the Middle East. So I guess we'll have to look at to see why did the U.S. send an aircraft carrier. It might be just for U.S. purposes, but we'll look at that as well. So any of you have any questions too? I'm going to start with some general questions because I feel like sometimes Spirit wants to talk. And if I narrow the question down, I can't get the full picture. So I'm going to start with some general questions. And then we're going to narrow down the specific questions to get a better answer. Calamity Jane says, the White House has infiltrators in the DS, that would be the dark elite, the deep state. That's why they are always a couple steps ahead of them. Very, very interesting. Yeah, there's infiltrators on both sides. Okay, Spirit, thank you for joining us today. We invite the presence of the angels to bring us truth and clarity for our best and highest good. The justice card just flipped out. Spirit, what can you tell us about this attack on Israel? When I asked my friend, I said, why? Why did they attack now? She says, apparently that they have nuclear capabilities. And something inside of me is saying, that's just what the media is saying. Something's deeper. Something's deeper. Spirit, what can you tell us about Israel's attack 3 to 4 days ago? What was that about? What was the initiation? Show us the deep, underground, underlying situation. Okay, so we have intelligence operations. We're uneasy. Intelligence operations got news of something. This is an egoic attempt, a plan, and the 10 of Earth. Very interesting. There's this civilizations involved here. What is and I mean like nation, people, the purpose for the entire nation. Spirit, give me clarity. This is a plan between multiple parties. 2 factions are coming in. Queen of Water, Control, and 3 of Earth. 4 of Earth and 3 of Earth. Yeah, multiple parties are coming in. This is not just between 2 countries. This is between 2 countries had something to do with Israel attack, or 2, it was a plan or agreement. We have multiple plans or agreements coming in, and it was an attempt to gain control. This is some sort of justice, fairness or justice, legal. Spirit, what is this? I heard a major treaty was broken, so that could be the justice too, the treaty. A treaty, the Sun card, the Tower card, and the 5 of Earth. It's getting financial. It's getting financial. So the message coming in here about why this was done is, number 1, it appears that there was an attempt to control, an egoic control over something having to do financially. And it was like an attempt to jump ahead and grab a situation before something escalated. Israel's intelligence, so this is the M, okay? The M, I don't want to say here, M ending in D, that's their we'll call it their C, 3-letter agency. The M agency here got wind of something very stressful and concerning. They tried to jump ahead and do something to gain control of a situation. This has to do with the people. It has to do with multiple parties, and it has to do with finances or resources of some sort. So the next question I'm asking, and it's travel or distance. I've got to ask this. Was the Israeli attacks dark elite or white hat focused? Spirit, what is the energy around the attacks? Was it dark elite or was it white hat focused? Thank you. Five of water, grief. Five of fire, conflict, and messenger of fire. This is a lower level operation that's not coming up as a world leader operation. I really do feel that there was some sort of 3-letter agency war. This is an intelligence war. This isn't coming from countries. I don't even see Netanyahu here. I think they played on Netanyahu's position because he was not popular with the people, okay? Because we have the people coming in here. They saw an opportunity, but this is the M agency that started this. Somebody in the M agency played on a negative situation and started the conflict. Why? Why was this and I'm seeing it's 2 intelligence agencies, and I'm really feeling it was, oh, look, we have the white hats faking something. We have the white hats coming in now, faking something. This is the infiltrators that Calamity Jane was coming in. They might have faked in, let's see what they were faking. Or they have their operatives, their secret service agents there. 9 of water. This is a desire to produce something. This is a matrix type of control, and then a high priestess secret plan. So I am catching wind of white hat infiltrators involved in this. I do believe the M agency did something to gain the upper hand, and it might be backfiring. Okay, I want to see what, and then we're going to pull on Iran side. But first, Spirit, what are the white hat infiltrators focused on right now? King of Air. I keep seeing weapons. Queen of Earth. This is resources. And then a major announcement here. The white hat infiltrators within the M agency I believe are somehow connected to the financial aspect of this. I believe there might have been some plans from the white hats to do something financially within the state of Israel. And the M agency, the M intelligence agency, retaliated for some reason. They retaliated against Iran. And I don't know if they were, I'm really getting the vibe that the financial system, the new financial system, was about to break in Iran, and the Mossad attacked them. I shouldn't have said those words. That is the energy that I am getting. That is this is having to do with the incoming golden age in the Middle East. I think it's a little bit different than it's happening in North America, but it's happening differently among the nations. And the infiltrators within the Israeli forces have been trying to bring in this financial stability to the Middle East. Okay, and it was a shock. The M agency got wind of something, and it had to do with Iran and resources of some sort. And they reacted hard. This has nothing to do. This could be nuclear. Is this a nuclear type, or is this financial? Because we are getting the tower, which is a shock, and it could be a bomb, a nuclear agency. The sun card, though, is positive, but then that would also represent the atoms. So let me something's going on. There are resources involved, but are there nuclear resources? Movement. Are these nuclear? Are these positive changes? Or are they negative? Why did they go after them? Thank you. Yeah, an upgrade. Yeah, these are positive. These are positive. Movement of resources, possibly even movement of gold or silver or something. Something that was coming into Iran that was going to give them the upper hand and possibly raise them up out of being a country that has to suck up to every other country. It's putting them into a better international standing. Okay, some sort of resource was putting Iran into a better international standing, and the Israel M agency freaked out. And they did cry nuclear weapons, but I'm not getting it's nuclear weapons. This is some sort of upgrade to Iran. It could be some weapons of some sort, but it's not everything that we're told. Okay, so now let's go ahead and see. Were sleeper cells on both sides, Israel and Iran, were they activated to create this escalation and make it worse? Were they activated by the dark side? Were sleeper cells activated on one side or the other? The Empress card and the Strength, that's one nation. I'm seeing Israel. I'm seeing a motherland. I'm seeing a nation here. 6 of Fire. There's the movement again. 3 of Fire. Something was being moved. And the Strength card is coming up as the ego, the attempt to control. And here's the stress. Okay, so this is Israel. What about Iran? What's happening with Iran? Israel saw movement and freaked out. They tried to gain control because Israel felt they were losing control of the Middle East. That's basically it. They felt like they were losing. This isn't even a protection. We're scared. Protect us. Oh dear. No, this is a movement. This is a movement. What's going on in Iran? Iran is coming up as the Hermit card, a wiser, more intelligent nation at this point when it comes to compared. The Hangman, they were in a very vulnerable position. They were doing some activities that was going to raise their nation to a, let's just call it a more ascended status. They were making some good decisions. Ace of Fire. It could have been involved in a weapon of some sort of protection. But let's see. Was this protection? Was this nefarious? They were vulnerable as a country, and Israel saw how vulnerable they were. Making trade deals. That's that trade deal. Israel did not like whatever Iran was doing. They were working with another party. That's that trade deal, okay? 7 of Water, confusion. The intel coming from Iran was confusing. Ace of Earth, this was a financial opportunity, not just weapons, but it was a financial opportunity. And Israel did not like it. They felt they were losing the upper hand. Has something to do with finances, and weapons. Iran, I'm pulling on the energy of Iran, was of a higher, more vibrational intention, was working with other nations, and was about to turn their country around. Okay. The energy of Iran is a bit more authentic, a lot more authentic, I should say, than the energy of Israel. I don't see sleeper cells activated from the Iranian government or the Iranian people. If they were activated, they were Israeli sleeper cells. They weren't Iranian sleeper cells. They were the dark elite sleeper cells. I want to ask one more question, and then I'll get to some of your questions here. Oh, this one. Yeah, I need to set the stage. Are the white hats in control of Israel? Are the white hats in control of Israel? Let's go, and we have a yes. We have an ace of earth. Are the white hats in control of the intelligence agency? Are the white hats in control of the intelligence agency? These two cards. Interesting. We're getting an ace again, a yes, but then we have movement. There's that movement, that transition. So what I'm having here is 60, six one way, half a dozen the other. Amazing, half and half. They are in charge of much of the new leadership I'm seeing, but the distance is something about half and half. Queen of Fire. Okay, so did the white hats do these attacks on Iran? Or were they rogue agents? What's going on here? Are the white hats orchestrating this event? Are the white hats, who's orchestrating this event? The leader is orchestrating the event. There's an intelligence agency orchestrating this event. We're getting a king here that's trying to maintain control of the country. This is Netanyahu, king of air, queen of earth. That's his kingdom, okay? But then his kingdom has completely flipped upside down and his timeline shifting. We have the C agency, C three-letter agency, the M agency coming in, the military, okay? And then the two of fire, plans and actions. He planned this. So it feels like Netanyahu with a sub-faction planned this because the country is actually in some sort of turmoil. It's almost like it's split two ways. It's not split two ways. It's in some sort of turmoil. So I'm getting Netanyahu has been planning it. We have the blocked, the matrix, the air, and the dark elite. Okay, so this coming in is telling me that there are factions within the Mossad that still have the ear of Netanyahu and that actually are still trying to maintain control of the matrix. It's very, very confusing energy. Maybe we can look at some more questions here and we'll look more at Iran as well. Let me read your questions. Can you ask if this is happening in real time? I'm hearing that some of the things we are seeing already happened and we are watching movies. You've got the skills, Ruth. Much respect, BRB. I appreciate that. Right now, it feels very confusing. Like, what am I seeing? Shauna says, how should we expect this to end? And what kind of announcement might we see from the White House to indicate that it's over? Definitely needs to end. And it's definitely very confusing. I will say, Calamity Jane, the cards coming in is moved on, moving on. That could be telling me this has already happened or something's moving on and we're watching a movie. It's something very strange, but I'm getting good energy from Iran and I'm getting good energy from most of Israel when I ask about the white hats. But I'm also getting this intelligent, sneaky kind of let's make sure we control the Middle East, and how dare any of them rise to be a first world country? How dare any of them come to the level of the USA or Russia? How dare it? And Israel's intention with this attack. So I tapped into the energy of just the attacks. The intention within the attacks was from the M agency, intelligence agency. So if it was a little bit before and we're seeing it now, it was definitely nefarious of some sort or manipulative. It wasn't even super evil, just very, 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 I didn't like the energy of Israel. Okay, so let's go ahead. Now, Richard had asked a question on the last live, so he's going to be the first question I take because I postponed it. Was Israel used to take out the bad factions in Iran, which greatly helps the people of Iran? Which I thought was a good question right after what Spirit seems to be showing us. Spirit, was Israel used to take out the bad factions in Iran? Okay, we're getting some star origins, past activity, 6 of water, the star card, and the leadership from the cosmic beings. Independence, financial independence, staying out of it, and the Queen of Air, an announcement or for the purpose of disclosure. In answer to Richard's question, was Israel used to take out the bad factions of Iran? I can tell you this. The Galactics have been watching this from the distance. They're staying out of it. But something about needing to disclose information, needing something to happen to disclose the truth. It's almost like the Galactics said, they aren't listening. We've got to let them get in the mud. But then we also have the past. So this could be from a previous timeline that the cosmic forces put into this timeline for the purpose of disclosure. I don't know if that makes any sense. Okay? We're getting an independent galactic cosmic force that knew about this in the past, but allowing this for disclosure. Okay. Further clarity on that. What can you tell me about Israel being used? The tower, the bomb, and the control. Okay, so this was allowed. Whether it was in a past timeline or in the past, the Galactics allowed the attacks. They did not intervene for a specific purpose. What was that purpose? Secret, new beginning, and there's that steps into a new direction. This is definitely going to put the Middle East into a brand new direction. Okay, regardless of what happened there, I hope that answers Richard's question. You also asked, is Israel under white hat control being used to play a narrative? Yes, we have. Yes, it was independence. The Galactics have been independently watching Israel and allowing them to play a narrative in order to shift the trajectory of the Middle East. And the White Hats are right now, as it stands, in control of Israel at least 50%. At least 50%. Okay, now let's get to some of your questions. Can you ask if this is happening real time? Yeah, let's just go ahead and ask that. Is this happening real time? Is this happening real time? Thank you. King of Water, which is that manipulation, something being, see how this king's like inviting someone to do something and then going to capture them. Sort of like he's either going to protect them or he's going to enslave them. So this king of water can be a little bit tricky. But then we also have the three of earth, which is agreements between nations, multiple nations, and the five of earth, which is lack of money and lack of resources. So it's getting resourceful. So when we ask right now, is this happening real time? This is definitely a patching of realities. This is definitely a shift here. Is this real time? Is this happening right now? Tower, High Priestess, Four of Earth, control. When I ask about time, I'm getting a 5, a 3, and a 4. A 3, a 5, and a 4 in the pentacles. So that's the earth realm. Okay, and this is the controlling of the earth realm, the manipulation, the control, the lack of time. Possibly even a third timeline, but I'm not getting major timeline shifts. I'm getting the shocks more so, the trajectory to shift into a timeline, the trajectory to change the cosmic clock. So I'm not getting a full answer here. Okay, here we go. Past energy, 5 of the war was in the past. Something was in the past. Something's in the past and time is somehow being, but I'm not getting it's media related. I'm getting it is galactic related. And that is a little bit, I'm really seeing a clock like Big Ben, and I'm seeing the ascended being Kronos, the God, and I'm seeing like this is just a divine plan, and it's one of the timelines. We kind of are dipping into one of the timelines of the past. Okay, very interesting. Will this, how should we expect this to end, and what kind of announcement might we see from the White House to indicate that it's over? Thank you, Spirit. And I'm being led to this card deck. This is our current reality. I'm hearing the words patching the timeline. Okay, we have King of Pentacles, so that's a leader, and that's finances. That's a balanced situation, a financial, it's finances, but it's also balance. So because we're talking about the conflict, until we get further clarity about finances, it's definitely talking about a balanced situation. So there will be balance coming to the situation in Iran and Israel. And I think a leader is going to step in, and I'm seeing President Putin at this point. Spirit, can you give me this card flipped out? The Hermit card, the white hats, and the Devil card. Okay. So speak to us about the end of this conflict. Seems like there's two factions there facing off. The end of the conflict. Negotiations. Okay, they're very heavy. They're going to need a third party to intervene. They're going to need a third party and a new treaty, okay? 3 of Cups, the third party, and a brand new treaty. Because right now, or in this timeline where they're currently at, the leadership of Israel and Iran, they're too crazy. They're too dark-minded. They're too unascended. They're too low consciousness to settle this themselves, okay? They're going to need a new treaty. They're going to need a third party. And there will be victory and celebration at the end. Can you give me a time freedom, Spirit? I hear the words, they're already in negotiations, but I think they're very angry and heated. Okay? We have the 5 of Swords, the 2 of Swords. This isn't good in the Tower card. So the war is going to continue for at least 5 more days at least. Then we have Four of Pentacles trying to control. We also have the Tower card, which is telling me negotiations are blocked. And with the Tower, there could be a lot more escalation before things get better. Spirit, what can you tell us about the end of this conflict? There will be a resolution, but at least for the next 5 days. We have the King of Swords, the Judgment. This is that third party. And the Knight of Swords. Oh my goodness. I think there's a third party military going to get involved. I think this is going to take another third party military to settle this. And everything is okay because Spirit knows and the cosmic beings knew that this would happen. But in order for this to get better, a military is going to intervene. King of Swords. Who is this King of Swords? We have the Eight of Swords come up, someone cutting off somebody else's head. Metaphorically, YouTube. It's an illusion, but it's an ending. It's a containment. Nine of Wands, protection, protecting the people. Three of Pentacles, third party. Yeah, there's going to be a third party interference in this. I believe there's going to be a show of military force, and it's going to be under the guise of protecting civilians. We've got to protect the civilians, and so there might be some peacekeeping troops that come in between the two. Will this result in an ascended Middle East? Will this shift them into a higher timeline? Four of Swords, Queen of Wands, the World card. So it's definitely going to be ending some secret dealings. When I saw this card, I heard secret negotiations, secrecy. So this could be the sleeper cells. Look how he's even asleep. Okay, and there's people with hoods on waiting for orders. You can't get this any better. Four of Swords. The sleeper cells will be hunted out, okay? Something's going to come in and find them, discover them, and put an end to the operation. So the spies, the intelligence agencies, the rogue agencies is going to start getting cleaned up, just as they start getting cleaned up in the USA. And we're praying for Canada as well, that they're going to start getting cleaned up. New agents coming to the M agency, new agents coming to the Iran agencies, intelligence agencies, and they're going to start cleaning up the nefarious sleeper cells, the underground underlying kingpins that set things off, that give off intelligence. Because I think there was Israeli intelligence in Iran that might have given off false information or given off negative information that sort of set things in motion that didn't need to go in motion. And so those sleeper agencies will be cleaned up, which is going to raise the vibration of the Middle East once this nefarious spy type of warfare is done away with. Is this the result? Will this result in the Shah of Iran coming back into power in Iran? Is he a white hat? How soon might that happen? Spirit, can you give us some energy from the Shah of Iran? Tell us about his future, his timeline, his energy. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And to remember, I read an article that said the leadership in Iran was leaving the Islamic regime or the Islamic parts. So we'll see. Okay, is the Shah of Iran coming in? Why am I getting the son of a queen? Does he have a son? Is he a young man, the Shah of Iran? I'm getting okay, let me show you. The Shah of Iran was put into a very difficult, vulnerable position. He might have gone to either his mother or another country for protection. He went to like a home base, or he was in his homeland. It was a good vibration, but something's coming that's changing his. Let's see if this is an actual death or just a death and a rebirth. What's this change? The Shah of Iran. Timeline shift, conflict, block. So there was war in his country that blocked him from being who he was supposed to be. Some sort of conflict here. Heavy, put in a heavy position as a leader. And okay, we're getting an offer. We are getting an offer, a future offer coming to him to be king because they need him there. He has a son and grandson next in line for the throne. They are all in the USA, I believe. The Shah may be too old now, but his heirs are ready. Yes, I got the heir. Okay, look, the son of a queen. So it's just interesting, or the son, and this can also be the motherland. Okay, the son of the motherland. He's with his family. They were forced away because of some conflict. But now the people are feeling the heaviness. They want a new leader, and they're going to make the sons an offer. One of the sons an offer. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. All right. His energy is coming out very positive. I'm not getting any dark energy here with him. I'm getting he loves the motherland. Since this conflict seems to have the conflict appears to have a planned outcome, how might we see that situation affecting crypto markets this year? Good question. Will this affect the crypto markets this year, this conflict? Two of Pentacles. That's Six of Cups. So we're getting this is already past energy. We're just going to say that. Past energy. The systems of currency are being highlighted. We have the Strength card, which is that control, and then a rise in prices, a rise in developments, an increase for the positive. Let me get more energy. And how will this affect? It will affect the cryptos, but it will affect them positively. Things are going to change drastically. Okay, and then possibly drop drastically. Okay, things are going to change drastically. There's going to be new agreements made, and then we're going to have some drop here. But I'm really getting this is the normal drop we were just expecting, okay, that I've already shared. The Tower card, how will this conflict in Iran and Israel affect cryptocurrency? Four of Pentacles, Two of Swords, and Ten of Wands. So there are certain cryptos, and I'm seeing from that region, that will be restricted for a while. They will be restricted, and that's what might cause some of them to drop or will be blocked. But I'm also getting they might be blocked in that country, not throughout the rest of the world, okay? I just want to make that clear. This could be within that country. Will it affect the rest of the world? Yes or no? Will it affect the rest? Thank you. The Star card. I don't believe it's going to affect the rest of the world. That's the galactic technology, okay? It's only going to affect cryptos within the war zone until they're balanced. So like cryptos might get shut down within the war zones. I hope that makes sense. Like people might not be able to buy and sell if they live in Iran. Can you ask if Dr. David Martin's intel about Event 201 will happen on July 4th? He said that we will have a biological attack that will kill thousands of people or animals. I have my essential oil water. I have cinnamon oil in there. It's a blend from doTERRA called Zendocrine. It's been really helping my stomach. Yes. Spirit. Dr. David Martin's prediction. Event 201. Will it happen? Will we have a biological attack that will kill thousands of people and animals? And I'm assuming this is in the USA, or is this worldwide? We'll just see what Spirit says. Will we have a biological attack? We're having the Death card. We're having the 8 of Swords. We're having the 3 of Swords. Will we be having a biological attack? I want a full spread. The energy coming in is not favorable, but I'm also getting like a bioweapon, like a virus. We have a yes, but there's more to the story. Okay. We are getting death. We are getting destruction. But what's the other half of the story? What's the other half, Spirit? Healing and balance. Ace of Cups. King of Wands. I do believe that there is a plan to do a biological attack around July 4th. But Mr. Trump is going to discover it, and they're going to or leaders are going to discover it, and they're going to neutralize it almost immediately. Wow. Spirit, I want to ask again. I want to use a different deck. Will there be an attempted attack within the USA to create a biohazard, a bioweapon to destroy? Let's see what the second card deck says. Connecting to Spirit. Further clarity. What do we need to know? Once again, 8 of Swords, 8 of Swords. Okay, this can be an illusion too. This can be a trap, a potential plan, an announcement that's not true, but it's an illusion. You can break out of it. So it might not be as tight as rough as it says it is. We have the King of Pentacles coming in, which is a leader. Oh my goodness. And we have 2 Temperance cards, which are healing. So we have 2 8 of Swords, which is this is what I see with an attempted bioweapon or an illusionary bioweapon. Okay. Look how they're both blindfolded. They can't see the truth. And the person chopping off his head is nothing but a ghost. So these 2 cards came up in both decks, and the Temperance cards came up in both decks. And Spirit's really pinging off of me and saying it's going to be neutralized fast. The leaders are going to take it. We might not even see the full picture. Spirit, what do we need to know to prepare for this? Or do we need to prepare? Desire. What does your soul desire? What is your intuition telling you? There are going to be lies and deception around this possible event. Remain emotionally stable above all else, because it will not escalate into what it says it is. And if you have a desire to stock up on food, whatever is in your heart to do, to stock up on anything, just do whatever you're feeling. But there will be a lot of lies and deception from the media. It will all come out emotionally balanced. And especially if you stay emotionally balanced, it will be okay. This is so weird. Make plans. There is some preparation here, some balance, and then travel. We do have some plans here. This might be a plan to disrupt the financial changes, the new financial system. It might be an attempted hijacking, like the virus was of 2019 and 2020, to hijack certain things. This might be a potential hijacking of the financial changes. I think it's going to be heavily neutralized. And from my own gut feeling of the vibration within the United States, there's too many people that will not go back to another pandemic and won't put up with the media's lies. I think there's too much information out there that's saying the big pharma people don't know what they're talking about, and there's good, especially with Secretary of Health Robert F. Kennedy. He's going to take care. That's probably that leader that's like, okay, let's just deal with this, and he almost takes it off the map before things can hit the people. But there might be an attempt to set up a kind of threat to stop a financial shift happening. Wow. Okay, very interesting. Event 201. Stay healthy, keep your immune system going. The Islam, okay, we're back to the Islamic Revolution kicked him out of the country a long time ago. We're back to Iran and the Shah of Iran. He was run out of the country when the Mullahs took over, as were many patriots. How will this affect the price of oil and gas globally? Incognito says, oh, not vodka. Not vodka. How will this affect the price of oil and gas globally? Oil and gas. Interesting. So we have positive energy coming into economies, okay? Positive energy coming into different economies throughout the world. But then we have here a restriction, tightening of the belt, okay? But then there's going to be certain oil reserves, and it's almost like this is a big brother helping a little sister. So it's almost like the countries around, I'm hearing the word BRICS. I'm hearing the word BRICS is going to make sure countries don't go without. There will be a tightening of a belt, but there's going to be a lot of energy placed by countries of the light. I'm seeing Saudi Arabia, and I'm not saying it's a country of the light. I'm just saying countries who want to stay out of it and want to do away with war, regardless of whether they're of the light or not. I don't know. I haven't checked. But what I'm saying is a country that want to stay out, that want to be part of financial stability, they're going to be helping each other. I'm seeing business deals. I'm seeing the gas, oil pipelines being built. I'm seeing some sort of military transfer. Countries helping other countries. Will this, let's see, yeah, rising above the struggle. And I'm seeing this could also be some rising costs, but also rising above the struggle of lack. Definitely rising above the struggle of lack. 10 of Swords, a surrender and a timeline shift. I don't think the war in Israel is going to last more than, it's definitely not giving me the vibes of Russia and Ukraine. I just think it's so funny that Putin's got his own problems and he's sticking his nose into Israel. I would love to pull cards on Putin. It's like, don't you have your own problems? But he's fixing this conflict. Like, he's heavily involved in the conflict, in trying to resolve this conflict between these two nations, which is making me think this is a timeline glitch, a massive timeline glitch. But as for the oil and gas, it's looking like a lot of countries are just going to it's going to be like, oh, when the community loses power, everybody gets super friendly with each other. I read another psychic psyop today, Shauna says, that says that there will be chemical, biological warfare that damages farms and people in Iran. So Calamity Jane confirms that it was in the USA. The first reading about Dr. Martin's prediction was about the USA. But then Shauna's saying there's another psyop that there will be another chemical and biological warfare damaging farms and people in Iran. There will be some. We have the death card and the lack card. Yeah, there will be damage. Yes, like this is the card of some. There won't be complete catastrophe, but it is going to cause death and lack, possibly the death of the farm animals. I'm hearing the last stand, the deep state last stand. The conflict to end all conflicts. This is also possibly AI engineered, biologically engineered by astral entities. They say that some of this bio warfare is dark elementals harnessed by the sides of darkness. So very interesting there. I read that they will be using Iran as a testing ground for these things right now. And where will all the nuclear facilities be destroyed? Spirit, can you tell us about Iran's nuclear facilities? Are they still up and running? Will they be destroyed? The Lover's card, the Offer card, the strategy, a lot of energy. There's the nuclear energy right smack dab in the middle, and a Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, they are in the future going to completely do away with certain, I'm seeing nuclear reactors right now. And I'm seeing a change to the nuclear reactors, but I'm not seeing a destruction. We do have an ending, and we do have a timeline shift. Okay, so yeah, we do have, but there's some sort of nuclear energy they still will be able to have. They still will be able to have nuclear energy. It's part of the future, but it's going to be a different kind of nuclear energy that they will have. And I don't believe the weaponry will be kept in Iran. And I'm seeing a choice and an offer. It's like they're going to be presented with, it's almost part of the new treaty. If you want this to settle out, this is what needs to happen. And it's going to be a massive overhaul to everything nuclear. Massive overhaul. They're going to be put into a position where their nuclear abilities will be controlled. Absolutely. There will be an ending and a timeline shift. I'm hearing the word peace. Peace to Iran. I think the key to Iran isn't so much their nuclear capabilities, it's the leadership, right? We need to get it's like the Galactics are saying we need to get into leadership, because any scientists at this point could do anything to do. It's almost like if a country wanted to destroy the world, they could. And the Galactics are saying we need to shift the entire makeup of the country. We need to get them into more of a peaceful people. We need to get that old regime out and bring in peace. And that's the focus of the Galactics here. But there is something that's going to bind up or control any nuclear capabilities to massive destruction. I read that they will be using Iran as a testing ground for these things right now. Iran. Strategy. Okay, we just have in the choice, the people card. All right, so I don't want to pull in that question yet. I wonder if that's not the plan of the deep state, was to use Iran for testing ground and debilitate Iran. Okay. What questions do we have? Will this escalate to World War III? I believe a third party will get involved in order to protect civilians, and that's going to bring an end to this conflict. The aircraft carrier. Let's look into the U.S. aircraft carrier that was sent out yesterday and is on its way to the Middle East. Spirit, what can you tell us about the U.S. aircraft carrier? What are its intentions? What are its orders? What is its mission? What is the mission of the U.S.? I think it's NISAC, USS NISAC. What is the intention of the USS aircraft? I'm hearing the words, that's the one we're told about. There's many more. That's just the one we're allowed to know about. So this card fell out. The Star. Okay. Galactic origins. We have the Hanged Man, a vulnerable position. We have certain resources that are in a vulnerable position. This is a peacekeeping trip, the Temperance card. A leader or an admiral of some sort is in charge of this operation and is going to produce justice and fairness. This is a peacekeeping trip. They are there to collect certain resources that might be in danger in the Middle East, to bring them home, and also just to make sure that they are protected. There's also some justice coming in here. What is this justice energy? Readiness. Interesting. So we have the card of healing, but then we have the card of betrayal. So the card of betrayal, just in case there's any kind of thoughts, we're ready. Okay, we're ready, and it's sort of like that double party. We're going to be in between here, and we're going to. It's a political move. Okay, it's like a strategic political move. We are ready, but we're just here to pick up our stuff, our protection, give our people some protection, and don't you dare try anything. Sort of like a show of force, but a very peacekeeping mission. And it is approved by the higher ups, the white hats, the Galactics, because they want to make sure this timeline mends appropriately. Okay, Spirit, can you give us a timeline when this is going to completely be over? When will this situation be healed? Thank you. We have 7 and a Page of Pentacles. So we're getting anywhere between a month to 7 weeks. So 1 to 2 months, roughly, before it's completely healed, negotiated. This is a quick energy, though. This isn't years. This isn't even within months, 5, 6, 7 months. This isn't days. This is about 1 month. Pentacles represent months to me. So, but I mean, the page is like 1, the lowest quality, 1 month, and then the wands represent weeks. So 1 to 2 months, I would say. And we're going to see this wrapped up. Anything else you want us to say, to hear, Spirit, about this conflict between the two? Negotiations, that third party is coming in, making plans. Yeah, the military, that third party military is making plans to intervene. I think because the escalation got so bad, the civilians are in trouble. But right now, expect that third party military to step in, whether it's a peacekeeping force or whether there's going to be actual conflict. I don't see that, but they're secretly making arrangements to step in. And I don't know I feel like this is Russia, but we'll see. This could be any other country that steps in and says stop. I'm not getting USA vibes, but it could be. It's definitely a first world country that steps in. UK could be. It could be the UK, but I'm really feeling Russia. But we'll see. I don't want to make a complete prediction on that. But Spirit's saying a third-party military is coming in to intervene so that we can patch the timeline up more quickly. All right. Well, there's the card pulls on the Iran conflict. We got a little bit extra there, and the potential bioweapons come in on the 4th, so stay safe. Stay full of your immune boosting vitamins and products, but I do think that everything's going to be neutralized super fast if that does happen. Thank you for joining me today. We are going to be doing another global shift forecast on Wednesday at 8 p.m. And if you're interested in any, or you know of anyone who's interested in a reading, let them know. I will be available this week, but I won't be available next week as I will be traveling. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. And I will see you this coming Wednesday. Bye. Have a wonderful trip to the UK. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, in this crazy world. Have a good one.